But now we attempt to have some good week 4 performers that we are going to predict here. We're going to start off with quarterback. Cam, who's your quarterback this week?
Jake, I got Caleb Williams this week. Last week he showed out. I don't know if that was one of yours as well, but
That was mine from earlier in the year. So I
yeah,
like Caleb a lot. I do.
yeah. I mean, he went 19 for 28 last week for 298 yards against the Cowboys, and we saw the Cowboys defensive backs struggle really against Russell Wilson. I mean, Russell Wilson threw for I think 400 yards the week before, and so Caleb's like, oh, let me do the same thing. So he found Robadunze a lot. I think that offense is clicking. Swift looked really great in the backfield, but Caleb Williams really showing out. Went for 298, 4 touchdowns, had a 142 passer rating, so that was the best in his career. And then he 0 sacks, Jake. I think that's a big deal when you don't take any sacks as a quarterback. It's his first time, so it's only his second year, but it's his first time that he didn't take any sacks. NFC Offensive Player of the Week. I mean, he's crushing. He's finding his groove. And I think people have been showing on social media, like when CJ Stroud went to go console Caleb, like, hey, keep your head up in the league, big dog. Like, you're going to be a great quarterback here. And then to see CJ Stroud's regression, not saying he's a horrible quarterback, Jake, but he's struggling a little bit, right? And Caleb Williams is trending upwards. But I got Caleb as my top performer this week. He crushed it last week, and it was good to see.
Yeah, I agree completely. It's one of those things, man, where, life flashes before your eyes, right? It really, like, he goes from CJ Stroud looking like the future of this league to now, like you said, he's struggling. And I do think that's kind of, it's unfortunate because I think he's one of the better quarterbacks to root for. One of the nicer guys. And like you said, and honestly, I give him credit because the guy he looked up to, the guy he said was Stafford. And everybody always says, Tom Brady or, Peyton Manning or whatever. He said Stafford. So I'm going to give him credit there because no one ever says Stafford, right? But as far as Caleb Williams goes, the offensive line is still an issue. The Cowboys are a bigger issue. That secondary is just not good. Yeah. And so when I look at, this weekend, and there's some bad blood there. We're not even going to see a Micah Parsons, ceremony or any sort of remembrance for him. And Cowboys fans are not happy about that, by the way. Jordan Love is my quarterback this week. He is going to ball the hell out against the Cowboys. We saw last week, I don't know what he was thinking throwing that to the Browns there. I mean, that was a horrendous decision, but you've said it on this show. I said Caleb before. You said Jordan Love, so we're swapping this week. I love Jordan Love. So if you are a better fantasy footballer, whatever, and you have a chance for daily fantasy, you want to get in on Jordan Love, this is the week to do it. And I would even go as far as to say, Cam, it's gotten to the point, any quarterback against this secondary – sign me the hell up.
yeah, they're gonna eat. They're gonna eat for sure. And you mentioned Jordan Love, and I want to shout out that Browns defense, Jake. I think the Browns defense is a little bit better than people realized. I think they're causing pressure on Jordan Love. They went and got him, I think, 4 to 5 times. So he had a tough time. But this week, like you mentioned, going against the Cowboys, hey, he's gonna show out. He's gonna ball out. And Micah Parsons, what does Micah Parsons do to Dak Prescott this week? That's what I want to know. That'll be cool to see.
Yeah, I think I want to give a hat tip to Dak because that's not a great situation, and I think he's handled it very well. I think he's still a great quarterback in this league, does not get enough respect, and I think he's playing well. And despite the fact CeeDee Lamb went down, and they're not going to have CeeDee Lamb in this game, so I do expect Dak to give him an opportunity to compete. I just think that the Packers are just going to be too much. Jordan Love is my quarterback. Cam, my running back is Omari and Hampton versus the Giants.
Yeah. Chargers.
The Giants can't stop the run. Everything else I like about the Giants, defense. But let me make that very clear. But Omari and Hampton, really unfortunate because kind of, going back to what you said, Najee Harris, you're really excited for Najee. He's had quite the year, man. He had the injury, with the fireworks, and now here he is. tearing his Achilles, I guess is what I read. So really, really frustrating, unfortunate. He has been a model of consistency in this league, regardless of what you think about him. 1,000-yard receiver every single season he started, and he stayed healthy. And so it sucks to see him go down. It sucks to see any player go down, but when a running back goes down, it's really tough because they do have that kind of floor, that 30-year-old floor. I mean, 98% of running backs hit that floor, hit that ceiling.
Yeah.
So
think like a Todd Gurley, like the Nick Chubbs. It's like they just slowly just start to dwindle, sadly, as they get hurt. And it's tough. Christian McCaffrey, he's still catching the ball, running the ball.
James Conner, unfortunately, had another injury as well. So, prayers out to both of them. I hope they have speedy recoveries. I'm hoping they're able to recover and play in this league. I'm a little bit higher on Najee Harris because he's younger. James Conner, later in his career, that's going to be tough. So I hope he does come back from that. He's a good dude. He beat cancer. I'm sure he could beat this. But Omari and Hampton, this is his backfield now, right?
Yeah.
And it's a great matchup against the Giants. And the Giants, all of a sudden, that 0-3 Giants team against a 3-0 Chargers team, that game is going to be fun to watch because whether you like him or not, Jackson Dart playing is a total wild card. It makes that game way more watchable than Russell Wilson. I'm just going to say that right now.
Yeah, Russell, he goes from a 400-yard game into struggling the next one. It was tough to see. But Jackson Dart, curious to see how he's gonna ball out. Jake, I have my defender actually that's a little bit later, and it's going to tie to Jackson Dart in the Giants. But I'm gonna go with my running back. I'm gonna go Ramondre Stevenson. He struggled against the Steelers, my guy. He might have had the worst game of his career. He had 2 fumbles, one at the goal line, which was brutal.
Because I traded for him right before the game, 30 minutes before the game.
Wait, what happened again, Jake?
I traded for him in my dynasty league. You were talking about fantasy football last week. Yeah. I traded for Ramondre Stevenson, put him in my lineup 30 minutes before the game, and he had -2 points when I was looking. I was like, what is happening?
Yeah, he had a tough day, Jake. But I do think he's going against the Panthers this week. I think he's gonna crank it up. I think the Panthers are gonna have to pay. Panthers finally got a win against the Falcons, like 30-0. It was kind of crazy to watch. Michael Penix didn't do well, so they brought in the backup, but Kirk Cousins. But yeah, it was tough to watch that Falcons and Panthers game. So I do think Ramondre is going to have some revenge this week against the Panthers. And we mentioned, I think they have one of the better backfields in the NFL. The Steelers just balled out. The Steelers, like I mentioned, the Steelers and the Vikings, they forced, I think, 5 turnovers, my guy, 3 forced fumbles. And so they were on a mission, and Ramondre Stevenson on the other, unfortunately, was on the wrong side of that mission, on the failing side of that mission. But I got him going off against the Panthers. You mentioned that this Patriots team is a sleeper team. I still think so. Just the way that they're balling out. Drake May, it's good to see him progressing, in the second year. I hope Drake May has a better trajectory than what CJ Stroud and those guys are doing, right? Your Bryce Youngs, he's looking like he's gonna pan out here nicely. Even think about just like Daniel Jones, right? Like how guys move forward. But Drake May, he's looking good. It just tough. And as I'm talking, I'm thinking about like the CJ Strouds, like Bryce Youngs. Like I just hope that they just figure their shit out. But Drake May, he's crushing it right now.
Hey, no, I'm with you there, and I'm totally with you there because on top of you talking about the Steelers and doing a nice job, you know what they didn't do a nice job against? The tight end. They gave up 2 touchdowns and over 100 yards to Hunter Henry. Man, he turned back the clock. He's still a really good player in this league. You know who else is a really good player in this league, Cam? TJ Hawkinson of the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah.
Hawkinson got going, had a touchdown. Carson Wentz, 25% of the target share, by the way, TJ Hawkinson. So I think Hawkinson is going to go off this week. So I'm excited. I think Wentz is going to keep throwing him the ball, and here's why. I was tempted. Suspended 3 games. He comes back. Jordan Addison is going to be with this game. But that made me think, Cam, it opens up the door more for TJ Hawkinson. Now he's going to have more opportunities because now you have to guard Justin Jefferson. Now you have to now you have to worry about their running back too. Jordan Mason is legit, man. We knew this, right? We talked about the 49ers getting rid of him was just dumb, but brutal. Jordan Mason is him And so you look at him, right? And then you have Justin Jefferson, and you got Addison, and you got Jalen Naylor with all that experience now because he started for the first 3 games. And then you have Hawkinson. A lot of weapons there for Carson Wentz. And I'm excited for Hawk. I think he needed a little bit of an awakening, and I think last week he got that. He just works better with Wentz than he did with McCarthy. Who do you have as your
and Jake, I want to ask you this. Is it the year of the tight end? I mean, I know like the Kittle and the Kelsey. I just we talk about it each week. There's tight ends that show up. We talk about Kraft. We talk about Trey from the Cardinals. Like there's so many tight ends that are just showing up and appearing. So it's really cool to see these guys progress. Brock Bowers. I mean, there's so many. But for me, at the wide receiver position, Jake, I kind of went with like a dark horse. I went with Trey Tucker's with the Raiders.
It's so funny you did that. I almost went with Trey Tucker myself, and I was like, no, not back-to-back weeks.
Yeah. Jake, he went 8 for 9 for 145 yards, 3 touchdowns, as long as he had 61. Cincinnati guy, second year. Jake, at one point, I was like, wait, are they going to double team him at some point? Because he's going off, my guy. And so I think the Bears might think about, hey, we need to keep a spy on this young man because he tore it up. And so against the Washington Commanders, like you think about the Commanders, of course they got the win, but you think about the Commanders, think about their coaching staff and what they're made of in their defense. And Trey just crushed them. So I got Trey this week. I'm going to roll with him against the Bears. I know the Bears are coming off a win, a big game, but against the Cowboys. But I got Trey Tucker doing this thing. And yeah, man, it's just good to see guys emerge, especially for this Raiders team. They needed Geno Smith looking decent back there, and having Trey Tucker to throw to is pretty dope.
Yeah, Trey Tucker and Jacoby Myers. People said they were crazy for not going out and getting another receiver. Just kidding. They went out and got Amari Cooper, and then he retired the next day. But hey, those two, I've been a big Trey Tucker fan. He's actually been on my dynasty league now for I think 2 years. So nice. I've held on to him. Of course, he was on the taxi squad, so he wasn't playing. So I had to watch 44 points pour in essentially on my bench. That's not an easy sight, as you know. All right, defensive. Last thing here before we move on to the picks. Will Anderson is going to be a no-brainer for me as a top performer this week. He's going up against Dan Moore. You know my thoughts on Dan Moore. I don't think he's that great at left tackle. And poor Cam Ward, man, just 31 pressures this past week from the Indianapolis Colts. I thought Tyquan Lewis looked great off the edge. He's really starting to emerge in this league and really become a good player. So is Latu. I'm sorry. I like Cam Ward a lot. I just watched the film. Cam Ward is legit. He can make the throws. He's got the quick release. But this offensive line, at least the tackles, they're going to get him killed, Cam. So unfortunately, an 0-3 Texans team that lost on an interception late in the game near the goal line, they are going to be pissed against the Titans. I don't see them losing this game, and Will Anderson's going to be a big reason why.
Will Anderson, he's a beast, Jake. The Rams saw him week 1, and he just causing pressures, causing havoc back there. I totally agree. Jake, from my defensive side, I got Derwin James, Brody.
I like it.
I don't think we're highlighting him enough. The things that he's doing on the defensive side, especially with Khalil Mack going out, they're bringing Derwin James up to the line of scrimmage, Jake. He's playing in the box. He's playing safety. He's covering on the outside. I mean, he might be one of the best defensive players, I think, that's playing in the league right now. Maybe top 10, I would say. Of course, you got your Myles Garrett's and stuff like that. But Derwin James, he's really doing it all. He had 12 tackles last week, 10 solo, my guy. Like, come on, fam. He had four TFLs and 1 sack. So he's really doing it all. One thing I will say, I think he's only the 6th player and the first defensive backs since tackles for loss since he was traded back in 2008. I don't know if I read that right, but he's balling out, my guy. There's not many defensive backs doing what he's doing. Derwin James, man, it's cool to see. And Jake, you just think about like that Florida State team that had Derwin James, that had Jalen Ramsey. I mean, like those guys were stacked. But Derwin James is translating to the NFL, and I got him this week too against the Giants. We talked about it. Jackson Dart is starting this week, so I think Derwin James is going to give him hell. Dayon Henley as well. It's going to be a long day, my guy, for the Giants. And you think about the Chargers. You mentioned before the show, what do the playoff teams look like? The Chargers are looking sharp, my guy. You look at like those offensive stats. Each receiver has like 50 yards plus. Come on, man. It's going to be a long day for the Giants.
No, I'm with you. I'm very high on the Chargers. Very high. It feels like I wasn't when Rashawn Slater went down, but the way Joe Alt has played left tackle, I mean, man, they look ready. The defense is coached well, and Justin Herbert, they're keeping him clean, and man, he is one of the best quarterbacks in the National Football League.